Hello everyone, welcome to the channel, and today we're gonna be reviewing and talking about a TV show that came out of the blue for me. Had no intentions of ever getting into this, didn't even know it existed till about less than a week ago. It is Virgin River, and I know the woman who features on this, who plays Mel. She was in Walking Dead, I think about 2015, 2016, playing Rick Grimes' wife. So if you didn't know that, there's a fun fact. And the fella on here, I think he featured in the film X, and he's also in other projects. And I've seen his face in other films over the years, but he's phenomenal in this. They both are. They play such a good role. Virgin River obviously is set in a fictional town in Vancouver, Canada. There's going to be, I'm just going to touch on season one. I'm going to be starting season two this week and get that review out as soon as possible. Subscribe and like as always if you want to know more and hear more reviews on Virgin River. There are 7 seasons at the moment. One season is coming out in the future as it got recommissioned for another season. So spoilers ahead, and let's dive into it. Enjoy. So Virgin River is I'm not, I think it's episode 2. I don't think I watched much on, and I think it's the episode where Hope had a heart attack. But there's so many good characters. Like, you've got Hope is very annoying, I've got to admit. She's very much in her own head, and she's in everyone's business. And she doesn't intentionally try to make people's lives harder, but she comes across that way, and that's just how it's perceived. You've got Mel and Jack, 2 fantastic characters who drive the story forward very well. Jack, who's in a relationship with Charmaine for most of the series, and then not a relationship because, as we find out, he doesn't want much from it, but he enjoys the company of Charmaine, but never expects to fall in love with him because he doesn't want to end up like his dad. But the second he has seen Mel, you can see sparks and fireworks coming from him, and it builds towards this thing of where he is nothing more than head over heels for Mel. But the stuff with the pregnancy becomes a problem. Mel is a fantastic character who obviously is mostly focused on her medical stuff and just helping out anybody she can, and her relationship and the pacing of her relationship with Jack is excellent. Then to his friends and working as side by side characters has been great. And as I said, the relationship aspect becomes a bit more tricky in the last couple of episodes, but the way it rolls over into season 2 is brilliant. I'm looking forward to seeing where they go with the relationship and the whole baby stuff, and whether they can mend their relationship with Hope, because Hope's causes a lot of issues for them too towards the end of the series. I think Doc is a very good character. I think the way he's a very stubborn and hard person to get across in the early episodes, and then he forms some great relationships, and you see him mingle more with Jack and Mel and rekindling with Hope towards the end of the series. It's just brilliant. And as for the side characters, you've got Preacher. I think side characters, I mean the ones that aren't the main 4. You've got Preacher, who's brilliant, ex-Marine, obviously with Jack, and Brady. Brady's good, and I think he's got a lot more to give as the series go on, and I'm very excited to see where his character goes, because at the moment he doesn't really know what he wants. He's getting mixed up with the gang that's on the outskirts of town, who held Mel and Jack at gunpoint. So I'm intrigued to see what happens with them. Brady's now involved with them. And then you've got the whole stuff with Preacher and the girl he likes. Can't fully remember her name, and the son, who are on the run from her partner. So there's a lot going on with a lot of the characters. You know, you have the friendship groups, you have the other people who are on the bar, you have the people who appear every single episode, but you've got your core members of the show, and I think there's no bad characters. Hope's a bit annoying, but you understand some of her motives. Brady's not an annoying character. He's just younger than Jack and Preacher, and he wants different stuff and wants to separate himself from the war in Iraq and all that. And I think sometimes, you see Jackie has his PTSD moments. Preacher knows what Brady did during the war, so he constantly blames Brady for those moments, and Preacher will always hold him accountable. The relationships are shown in each episode, and the development is brilliant. And I think we're going to keep learning more about Mel's background, with losing her husband and having a stillborn, and how Charmaine's just horrible to her, even though Mel has been nothing but respectful and distant when needed. It's been a very much well put together show. The visuals of the town and the trees and the mountains, it's fantastic. It's cool that Jack Spa is like the main area where everything's situated and all the characters come together. I think there's a great cast of characters that drive the story forward brilliantly. And I think for the most part, I think every story was great from episode one through to the end. And I'm looking forward to seeing where Mel and Jack's relationship goes, to see where Brady goes, what happens with Hope and Doc, if Charmaine will stop being a bitch, and all the other things that are gonna, make this series good. The flashbacks are always brilliant to the war and to Mel's background. It gives more layers and detail into what these characters have been through. And I also enjoy Mel's sister when she's involved. The bar episode with the whole mingling stuff was very good because it brought a lot of conversations out that they had to have because they were mingling with each other. And obviously a lot of violence between like Jack and Brady. And there's a lot of heat and tension that I think will get resolved as each season goes, but there's still a lot of work and progress that we are yet not even seen. We haven't seen if Brady actually was responsible for the deaths in Iraq, or Preacher just wants to blame him. We know how we know that Mel's partner died, but there may be more interactions with Mark in the past, and I'm pretty sure there'll be plenty more war stories going forward. So war flashbacks going forward. So we'll see how all that um, plays out. So yeah, I think it's been a fantastic show. I think it's been a fantastic start, brilliant first season, and I'm looking forward to seeing season two. I have watched episode one so far, so I'm very excited to continue that and get to the end of it and see where these characters will be from where they are at the start of season one to the end of season two. A lot more stuff to uncover and get into. So subscribe like as always for more. Let me know down below in the comments your thoughts on Virgin River, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.